that 5-mapper against Australia and just fall short in that qualifier. That was a long time ago, and of course...
Look, when your brightest moment that you can remember is falling short in a qualifier,
no.
It's a little bit of a bigger step up here now.
The brightest moment was that hotel in Sydney. That was something else. But again, I know that VARREL are looking for more than just a comfy stay out here in Saudi Arabia. They'd like to make Team Wicked squirm a little bit in their chairs. Night Market looks like it's on deck first hitter. Infected already seems to be committed to this Orisa game plan. Make some noise, STC Esports Arena. Let's get this decided match underway. Out of the gates, Liquid in the blue, VARREL in the orange.
And VARREL will actually run that. Kiri Ilari here off the rip with Top Dragon playing the Pharah. So a little bit of a different look than what we saw from them the other day as we're on board with Tree. It started to feel like, as of late, he's really starting to come into his own.
He's going to have his work cut out for him on this kind of map because it's going to fall to him often to try and clip the wings of Top Dragon, who'll often play in a position here. It's a little bit hard for the Sojourn to see. Now that he can be set up here, he can start to bombard Infected as he tries to approach. And already the Orisa has been laid quite low. Liquid, frankly, aren't in a great position to strike, but Nico's been taken down by Vega of all people, and Top Dragon knows he's got to make a play now. Into the backline he goes, trying to swing around, but he's got to respect this Sojourn damage. One more rocket would account for Tree, but he's getting that healing. And the window might have closed here for Top Dragon. KSG and Slayer down.
He had like 2 or 3 opportunities, right, where the Curie healing was on the way to Tree, where you would have been able to finish him off with a rocket, but 2 of them go wide there, and you're able to keep Tree up. RuPaul then TPs towards the point, helps out Infected and Vega, and that'll be a first point here, getting in control for TL.
Nico here, just that longer range pressure at least forces Tree in the direction of that mega health pack. It's just the Sojourn playing the off angle in the middle of the map. The rest of Team Liquid are arranged around the outside of the point itself. Obviously, that would present opportunities for Lucio, but VARREL aren't playing with one. It's Kiriko Iliari, as you pointed out, Matthew. And Slay is taken down yet again. Vega has been so busy early on in these fights. The Tree looks like he was knocked off the map there. Nico steals that mega away, but KSG falls in a frontline fight. VARREL are actually struggling to get on the same page by the looks.
And I don't like the Ilari here because you're just making it so difficult for your tank and costly in terms of cooldowns to take up that space, right? You have to kind of use, whether it be the Fortify, the Spear Spin, move on in. You're moving a little bit slower, and then it gives Team Liquid an opportunity with Vega's speed to be able to push them on in.
Nico here looking for the one clip, but Nico, of course, has the explosive bolt damage connecting. Infected pushes out, hoping to chase Nico down. Might have overextended, but of course, he's got a little thing called the Terror Surge to throw in. Big durability buff, and Tree and Vega will make sure they dive in and make the most of that disruption. Captive Sun cleansed off there by the Suzu. Tree not bothered. Top Dragon only had Infected to work on, and he was able to flip the point now, but he's going to look towards the ground as Zera has come knocking.
Three and both supports are still in the middle of the map. That's why you see KSG's like looking all around. Doesn't know whether to go help on the point or fall back. That is going to be the Kitsune rush here used as well by Cloud. They thought that was winnable. Couldn't be any less the case.
Yeah, absolutely not. VARREL seem to be playing in 2 different areas on the map much of the time. And that's owing, of course, to the Pharah in play and the mobility of Cloud. Trying to make sure the Kiriko is where she is most needed. Oh, there it is, another great opener there. That was an explosive bolt from Nico. Tree's opted to make the switch over towards the Freya himself here. With a bowler shot ready, looking like for someone like Slay, who's ensconced there in that back corner, try and force him out of the fight. 92% here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, it was a really early beat from Vega, and they try and use it to get aggressive, but they turn the corner. Nobody's home. So the beat goes for nothing there. So this opens up a little bit of a window of opportunity now for VARREL.
Oh, Nico's been pretty bloody clean on this Freya so far. A bit of a stagger pick up there as Team Liquid had already well and truly lost that fight. A couple of players lingering around the fringes of the point.
Hey there.
They will be back and lined up quite soon, and it's going to be a Kitsune rush that will not be able to be answered by Cloud. Liquid, like I mentioned, sitting on the bowler shot still 2.
Yeah, I mean, you could end up using the Terror Surge, right? They use the Kitsune rush, you use KSG's Terror Surge. You have a bowler shot as well, so some opportunity where those players are grouped up you can get something big.
And to the point they go, Slay's already gone down. Terror Surge has to be used here by a KSG, but it doesn't seem to bother Team Liquid whatsoever. So much to work with that Kiriko ultimate in play, and it's an exchange of bowler shots. Top Dragon, though, is caught by trees, and that should be the end of the round, folks. Team Liquid, last team left as the dust settles here. Night Market going in favor of this North American squad.
And I think it's going to be really difficult to play this double flex support look here against Team Liquid, because like Zera, RuPaul, Vega is so good at like just hunting down those supports. I mean, you have the Illari right there, and it's a pretty easy target. Now Cloud can get out of dodge, right? But if you can get on top of the Illari, even the Freya, two pretty nice targets there for those flankers on Team Liquid to hunt down.
Vega and RuPaul, the safest pair of hands you could ask for on this side of the Atlantic, I guess.
You then reminded yourself that Shu and Chorog exist, and then we're like, hold on, wait, how do I phrase this right?
I also have to remember exactly geographically where we are positioned. All right, here we go, folks, off to Garden. KSG's going to be on the Diva here. A hero we've seen a heck of a lot less of here.
Yeah, we saw a lot during Stage 2, but not as much at this event. It's been a lot of like a recent ram. So we'll see if KSG is able to make good use of the Diva. A little bit more defensive, right? Especially if you want to play the Illari with the defense matrix.
Like Infected very quickly saw an opportunity to topple Nico. That would have been dangerous. The outburst there, saving Slay's life, as that javelin would have been bound for his chest, and he would have been sent packing over the edge. Actually quite low.
Well, I mean, no,
inside the dojo, though.
They're having a tough time making it across the bridge, right? Because he's so low. I mean, goodbye.
That's a one clip.
Yeah, he can't get back towards the choke to provide defense matrix, right? Because he's so low. So then everybody walking over the bridge is just getting, like, poked on down.
Free playing pretty riskily here, but he's ultimately going to be rewarded. Nico, like a stuck pig going down with all those explosive bolts riddling him. This is very, very clean. Tree and Zera working in tandem to make short work of any target they turn their minds to.
It feels like you needed a swap here from VARREL like 2 fights ago at this moment in time, as feels like this comp not working out. So you're going to have Rush and your Captive Sun. This is probably your best opportunity, right? Yeah, they decide to use it. So they go towards that white room. They use the Rush over the point.
VARREL are so split here. And in fact, the part of their squad playing on the bridge chose to back up and take the Mega up instead.
Well, they just trade rushes, right? I mean, that's what happens. They trade rushes. But KSG also gets dangerously low, actually able to finish off Zera.
Yeah, and he's been topped up now, so could probably fight here on the point. Bowler shot here for Infected might be the play. Slay looking for a Captive Sun connection now as the Terror Surge comes in, and Infected will fall either to Slay's hand or someone else's. Now VARREL finally have found their way into the round at 80% and counting for Liquid.
Well, Vega's on the point, takes out Top Dragon.
Wait a minute.
And, no, Vega is still, he's contesting this, and he's got Sound Barrier. He's going to drop it, connect with everybody there.
Tree just going to play safe here. They're going to respect that self-destruct, but a Sound Barrier renders it pretty useless. Tree backs up here, bowler shot in hand, and he deals with Slay. All comers fall before Tree. Not even the finest of lumberjacks here out of the Japanese region can deal with him. KSG also going to be staggered and de-suited. This is brutal stuff, man. I'm going to tip it 100 with you. Top Dragon tries to go for a barrage here, but Infected is back here on this signature Wrecking Ball pick. And I'm glad we're stuck on this Tree POV because he is lighting him up, folks. Brutal welcome for VARREL here out to the stage.
That is a tough second round there for VARREL. Felt like, I don't think they're going to be able to run this type of comp with the Illari and the Kiri against this team. Team Liquid just going to take advantage of it, it feels like. I think you're going to need to make some more changes here. If you are VARREL going into the next map, feels like that second round probably could have tried some different things as well, but maybe the map was a little bit too far gone.
I mean, they did, right? We did see the Diva come out here for VARREL. KSG, even very early on in the round, kind of basically feels like he starts at half HP. Push back inside that dojo building. Tree here just showing us some utterly absurd mechanics. Even he's got to laugh about it. He gets away with so much, including a number of just solo engagements, you know, up against Nico that he just sort of wins out.
It felt like KSG made it across on D.Va, made it across the bridge, and then was like, hey guys, everybody come. And he's like, we will die. And he's like, well, I have no health, so what do we do?
Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Unfortunately, it wasn't one that paid off so often.
Oh.
They split their forces, did VARREL.
The bad part is they kept sacrificing people, and it just never worked.
Yeah, sunk cost fallacy, bit of a foreign concept to them in that case. I understand. Or rather, not foreign at all.
What can they do in terms of like map ban, hero ban process? VARREL tries to get a little bit of an advantage.
So against Liquid, it's a little bit harder than against some other teams because they built this team to be sort of map and meta agnostic or as much as possible. So I think at this point you need to essentially double down on your strengths if you're VARREL. We think back to that sort of game against Rock, right? Really competitive. VARREL looked really good on Circuit Royal, one of those sort of outlier maps that some teams want to go to if they feel like they're advantaged there. Eichenwalde also was the decider map in that series, but it's chosen by Rock into VARREL. They looked quite good there. So if KSG wants to play more of that D.Va, there are likely some maps that lend itself to a pool.
See them play more of that D.Va?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. And there's also the question of, okay, like between Nico and Top Dragon, is there like a functional sim composition? There, I think maybe there's a case to be made for the D.Va. She's very good at it's a PGE.
PGE, yeah.
Rise up, baby.
PGE sneaks his way into all the broadcasts.
That's it. So that's, I think, what you're considering here if you're VARREL. I think Team Liquid, you're going up against a team you know that took a team like Crazy Raccoon, favored to win it all here, to the very limit. And that's a scary prospect. Even if you don't watch the game, which they definitely have, you're still worried about what you're going to run into here. And Liquid, obviously, they end up going to Colosseo, right?
Yeah.
A bit of a random push map to pick here. One that not every team is sort of prepared to roll out on. They managed to take a pretty comfortable win.
Esperanza is a much more fan-favorite map, I would say, than Colosseo.
Cool.
So I'm not surprised on that. But then Colosseo also kind of like, if you win that first fight, like you can gain like a pretty sizable advantage, and the chokes to fight through on the other end are pretty brutal. So we'll see maybe if Liquid has the chance to pick a map, if that's where they would take us. VARREL, do you go towards Circuit? That would be, like, if you wanted to play Illari and comps like that, Circuit makes a lot of sense. It doesn't feel like a situation, though, where you get a massive advantage.
Maybe just the fact that you can go for a comfort comp is a bit of a boon for you. It's also the kind of map where the infected ball is absolutely useless. Cannot play that.
Yeah.
And infected actually, like, he was pretty honest over in North America about just the challenges he faced when he picked up Orisa. When she first sort of became sort of meta relevant, I think it was last year, he was like, yeah, honestly, it's taken me a while to get to grips with this hero. Infected was, if you remember, played a lot of Winston, a lot of Ball, more of those dive styles, but has shown us, a much deeper pool, I think. But there's a question of like, okay, how does the Rabatra look for this lap?
Right.
Like, does he feel good if we go towards those some more classic rush style compositions? Or, yeah, a map like Circuit Royal, if that gets picked up, what's the look supposed to be for Liquid?
Yeah, so I think it looks like the map will end up being Circuit. The ban's obviously still some time to come on through. If you're VARREL, are you looking at like trying to protect like a tank with like a different type of ban? Are you looking at maybe even trying and thinking about protecting the support line, right? Especially if you want to play like a BAP Illari, or even I guess if you wanted to play Kiri Illari, you can
I think
ditch that.
I honestly think banning to protect the BAP Illari composition, is a pretty good idea. But Liquid already banned Baptiste in the previous map, right?
Yeah.
They already tried to take that option away from VARREL. They'd read that pretty closely.
So VARREL, they end up banning first. So they get rid of Lucio. That's kind of what I was just kind of talking about, right? So they get rid of the support. Vega, we obviously know, plays a ton of Lucio. That is a very difficult.
Yeah.
My back hurts looking at that gaming posture.
I think that probably breaks a lot of the rules of ergonomics.
All right, we need to keep track of KSG and interview him when he's like 35. Be like, hey, did this impact your back?
How did that pan out for you?
Yeah. It's like, you wake up in the morning. How does your back feel?
This obviously targets Vega's Lucio,
yes,
right?
But it also, like, VARREL wasn't going to play it anyway, right? If you're not going to play Lucio in Lijiang Tower, like, you're probably not going to play it. So get the Lucio out, target Vega, protect the comp for you, a win on both sides.
Liquid are targeting Top Dragon's VARREL here. Don't want to deal with it. That also might indicate like maybe there's like an interesting going the venture direction.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's an option. I was like, does Top Dragon now fall back and play like some Mei, right? Potentially.
I think Mei is so good on this map, especially in those rush comps. So annoying.
Yeah.
For both Ramatra and Sigma to deal with. Maybe we even see that mirrored, both sides going for that pick. Yeah, there it is, Top Dragon.
Yep.
Got to come out on the Mei here. KSG on the Ramatra, and it will be, as we alluded to, that signature Baptiste Iliari look here for VARREL.
And I think Liquid obviously has some time. You could see a little cheeky Hanzo pick here from Tree. We've seen that before, and him put up some crazy kills with that. We haven't seen a ton of Brig at this event, at least the games we've cast. Maybe like once, so Brig Bap would be a little bit of a interesting one. Brig Bap was like, if they were going to play D.Va on the other side, you would like really like the Brig Bap.
I think it's fun against the Ramatra too, especially when you have the Pharah band. Like, it's such a nightmare to play Brig in a Pharah, because you basically never have a shield. It's always pokes down. So double sniper here for Liquid, just out our opening. They're not sure if there'd be like a grapple up or something similar. That's not the case, or maybe an echo, God forbid. That is a Top Dragon pick. Mei mirror on both sides.
It'll be a mirror outside of the tank, so Infected going to stick on the Orisa as
we talked about it, yeah.
Pilot the Ram.
Kind of wondered if like Ramatra would be a preference for his.
I think I like the Ram a bit better. Like I just think Ramatra is just crazy good.
But Orisa can walk out of the Blizzard map, and I think that is fairly important.
If you can get past the Ramatra shield and doesn't have like Nemesis form available, you can also deal with him pretty nicely as Orisa.
I don't know how long Top Dragon expects to be able to stay there. He eats too many of these bolts from Tree. Tree gets a high enough viewing angle, it could be curtains, but Top Dragon's giving good account of himself with those right clicks. He'll stay in position for now. Vortex there, taking Rupal a little low.
Like, right there, Nemesis form is now down here, so KSG is backing up. Do you have a window here to be able to kind of get rid of him from that side room?
Rupal's kind of doing it all here. Beautiful air matrix, makes a lot of space, and Top Dragon has been felled. KSD finds himself on the wrong side of that air matrix. I think, Matt, there's an idea to go past it, to get into the back line of Liquid properly, but eventually he falls back and is subject to the damage.
He's got to be super careful, though. Like, if he uses that Nemesis form early, they are just going to run him down. That is going to be the first checkpoint here. Like, the idea would be, is like with the Ramatra here, is to just kind of like, force these cooldowns out of Infected and force him to move up without them, and then like Nemesis form. And typically you would speed and then kind of push through, but be a Terror Surge with a Captive Sun uses RuPaul. That's going to be a nice immortality field keeping him alive.
Yeah, it's the perfect answer, of course. It's so hard to interact with the detonation, burst damage off the Captive Sun. And so Slay, in the past, we've seen him in that position actually, better do a lot with that ultimate. RuPaul is the exact hero that has an answer for it, and Vega now is holding onto a Captive Sun of his own.
Dude, you lose KSG here so late as well, so
I think better to see the Iliari than the Brig here from Team Liquid. Under these kind of poke circumstances. Flay has another healing pile removed here, so harder for VARREL to set up in a bit of a bunker-style approach. Top Dragon has a Blizzard though, and he might be trying to work an off angle to get in there and stick it, but there's no Lucio here, so it's hard to get that speed boost to your Mei to get her in where she needs to be.
Little off angle, Captive Sun here.
Good connection, and there it is! Vega gets himself Nico and Slay. Who needs fusion power when you've got this guy lining it up for you? RuPaul's Immortality Field does a lot of work in maintaining that life for the backline. And KSG is trying to get something for his money in this fight, but there's not a lot to be had.
He uses the Annihilation, tries to push on top of RuPaul and Tree, but with the vertical mobility of both of those heroes, they go right above him, and they have the lamp there. Vega turns, and he's like, hey, do you guys need help? And he just turns right back. They did not need it whatsoever.
Oh, man, Vega is doing it, man. He's doing the thing. What a Captive Sun onto that backline entirely. Definitely left KSG out at sea. He's made the switch over towards the Orisa now. The Ramatra is just not doing it. And Zera switched over towards the Tracer, so leaving a Soul Mei on the field.
This is going to be a crazy time if Team Liquid can finish this. Nico, I was just about to say, extremely weak. And Nico drops down and he falls right into the lap of Zero. So unfortunate for Nico. Zera just kind of creeping here behind enemy lines. The enemy's very far away. Oh, he's gonna try and go for a spawn camp here.
Slay sniffs this out, I think, rather Nico. Yes, he actually definitely has a feeling that Zera's going to try and camp him.
Meanwhile,
Captive Sun, it's an exchange of them, in fact, and Slay ends up going down. RuPaul's able to detonate it, and here comes Infected. Here comes Liquid, boys. Out around the outside of the map, it's going to have to be an ice block there for Top Dragon, but it's awkward. Zera was hoping to at least get a quick trade for RuPaul, and now that's not an option.
But the card is continuing to move, though. Like, the card has been consistently moving here for Team Liquid, where VARREL are just kind of fighting for their lives, trying to secure this high ground. So they finally do so. Team Liquid will end up being back at full strength.
Again, this VARREL bunker on the high ground will need to be defeated by Liquid one way or another. Their options are to force VARREL down, which means taking a fair bit of poke damage, or taking the fight to them on this high ground. Tree is working alongside Infected to that effect here. Yeah, and that allows VARREL to move up onto the card and prevent any incidental progress. Zera just forces an ice block. It appears to be like a, that 1 versus 2 with support overlooking the situation. Infected knows that big cooldown from Top Dragon is burnt, so it's an easy kill for him, and then it's back to work.
Yeah, and KSG, that's going to be the immortality field used right there, so it's going to be the Captive Sun over the top. I think it only connects to 2 targets.
Oh, that is dirty stuff from Vega. Averaging 2 kills per Captive Sun. What an instrumental component of Liquid's success on this map so far, and that is a whopping time bank on Circuit Royal.
Infected trying to get Vega hyped up, as Vega just seems always so chill and calm. As see some highlights from this one. This is all Team Liquid.
Look at this one. Slay and Nico fall back. Oh, man. That is beautiful.
Yeah, not a lot of VARREL highlights in this one.
No. Vega looks incredible here. Maybe VARREL even regretting banning the Lucio away. And this is what we were kind of saying about Team Liquid. It was a promise they made at the start of the year that just took a long time to mature, really. Is that they wanted to be the team that could kind of do it all.
So that's about as much of a celebration you're going to get from Vega. And hey, we were playing some Overwatch. We were looking at some we were playing some games earlier at the player hotel. We went over there, and Team Liquid skins in game look clean.
Yeah, I do like that blue and white look. That's for sure. You blue and white. Here's your Aramco science swap. So put Liquid on defense now after, again, finishing the map much quicker than we tend to see. It's an attack time bank that signifies a real dominant stance on this map, and VARREL have some catching up to do already, I feel.
Yeah, and they'll play Widow Freya here, at least off the rip. So 2 hit scans. Potentially we're going to see Top Dragon. It's going to be like a Sojourn Freya on the other side, right? So
where did we see this from earlier? I feel like we
saw this from Weibo yesterday with Leave and Shy. It did not work.
No. I didn't quite cut it up against Falcons, I believe. But again, they weren't given the space to make that setup work. On a map like this, it probably is a little more appropriate. We have a Widow for Zera. He is sticking to this. And he knows against, like this double sort of long-range DPS combination, Widow will outrange them both. There are problems, of course. There are challenges that Zera is going to face, like being able to shoot Top Dragon in the head as he bobs and weaves around the map. They've already lost Vega here, which is not ideal, as that healing pylon will not have a supplier.
It's a lot of like poke damage potential and like long-range kill potential from Team Liquid. I don't know how they support Infected. I mean, you see the armor just being chunked down constantly. Nobody out there that's going to be really able to play with him. You see he's kind of like hiding in that corner there. Spear spin. He's just trying to push people back. Yeah, you're not going to be able to support him in any way.
And this is the feast or famine nature of playing Widowmaker. I think if Zera's able to find a pick or 2 there, then Infected doesn't have nearly that same degree of pressure on him. But essentially, Liquid just gave up that first checkpoint for free.
I mean, yeah, I think actually Zera was going back to the spot in the swap, but may have missed the timing on it.
That's a problem. Top Dragon, though, there's the first winner pick of the game. Just gets a little bit too antsy with it out in the open. They're looking to line up a few more of these shots, but of course, there's pressure coming in from multiple avenues.
Now, this also may be a little bit better scenarios. Zera finds another one.
That's nice.
To be able to use both of these like long-range damage dealers right? Because like there's some cover around the corner there for Infected to play from. Nice headshot there, predictive there from Tree. There's some like natural cover for Infected to play from, and then these longer sight lines, especially if you want to spawn camp like this.
You see, once that first Widow kill comes in, the snowball begins. Infrasight now developed by Zera. So everything going to be face up to VARREL look to try and take a different tack. Yeah, and in case you realizing very quickly, oh, he can see me straight through this wall. They might even have to wait this out. They know it's a count of 12 seconds. So they hang back. Time bought here by Zera, but there's still a lot to work with in the Matrix and a bowler shot. Both teams flush with ultimates now. It's about how they're employed, and Zera has to respect this bolt that comes in. And the healing's taken a little while to come through. Was hoping that Vegas Pylon would do it, but KSG's cleared that one out as well.
Yeah, and I mean, they need to make up some time here, VARREL, right? Like, you know, it feels like you give up, like, all right, you know, we're going to, like, lose this fight, we're going to play for the next one. All of a sudden, then you have no time left. It's going to be the Annihilation use here by KSG. It's going to be the Immortality Field gone already.
Oh, my God!
Son. Another huge Captive Sun from Vega.
The combo with the bowler shot, Matt, is a thing of beauty. In that case, it looks more like a supernova. You're guaranteed to get, you know, a big trigger on those, Captive Sun debuffs when you have that area of effect of the bowler. It's a 1-2 combo that's really hard to preempt, to see coming, and to play around.
We take a highlight look at this. The timing there with the Captive Sun. So he is just having the time of his life here.
Yeah, that's absurd. And that wasn't even a bowler shot that triggered it, Matt. That's what's even crazier about it. That really sucks the wind out of VARREL. Zera has to reposition here. Grapple to that effect works, but he's hit by the Captive Sun debuff inside the Immortality Field though right now, and it can't be cleared yet.
Oh, he just got speared out of midair.
Slay though eventually does get Zera posthumously, the debuff detonating. That makes it a 4 versus 4, and KSG's on the D.Va here.
I think Zera should swap here as soon as the D.Va. Yeah, he's going to go May. Oh, no, Tracer now. So I think either of them would have been good here. As Cloud gets extremely low. Nice E to the Bola there by KSG, but not able to get this D.Va in a spot with the rest of the team to be effective.
And this is starting to just billow out of control a little bit more now.
They're going to get a D-Mech here, and then they're just going to leave KSG.
Has to walk coast. D.Va over the edge here. VARREL again trying to toy with this D.Va look, but for Team Liquid it's so elementary to switch Zera into Tracer. So the defense matrix has less applications, but KSG will stick to the pick, getting close to a remake opportunity via that ultimate.
I feel like they would have had a better option, at least in my opinion, keeping the Ram and then like swapping out like whether it's like the Sojourn or the Freya, whichever one you would have wanted to keep. I don't know if D.Va is the answer here.
Oh, Nico losing out again to Tree. And these shots coming in from the young gun have been really problematic for VARREL. And I don't know what RuPaul's doing back here, but it seems to be working, so I'll spare the complaints for now. He gets back up to the high ground. Tree found Slay and Cloud, and once again, another dominant Team Liquid fight with VARREL under 90 seconds left to play.
Yeah, this is after they gave up the first checkpoint, I mean, they have gotten no more progress after that. It's been rough here for VARREL. I still don't really, the D.Va, I feel like it wasn't really that impactful on Li Zhang, and still coming up with just about nothing here. Vega's going to go with some crazy flank Captive Sun.
Yeah, here's Terra Surge as well to combine with it. Nico caught onto Vega, doesn't need the Captive Sun to find the kill on that Freya. This is dirty stuff. Guy really overperforming on this pick, and it's something that VARREL have not been able to reciprocate. Slay has not found that same level of impact on his own Illari pick.
No, I mean, it has been a wide gap in terms of the Illari between these two teams, where Vega, it feels like every time, I mean, that was the one rare Captive Sun that didn't come up with 2-3 kills. That Tree with a bola shot there puts down some damage onto Nico, not enough to finish off anybody.
Time is ticking, Matt. 20 seconds left for VARREL to show us why they selected this map into Liquid. Top Dragon with an overclock here, but there's not much to see. And Infected is taking the perk that gives him the good old-fashioned Orisa shield. Vega, though, wasn't quite standing behind it, and he's taken down. Top Dragon desperately wants to stay in this fight, but he can't be too insistent now with an Air Matrix in his face. RuPaul backs away, but Slay found yet another Captive Sun connection. It was Top Dragon that eventually went down. Overtime is active, but Cloud is missing. Nico next to Fallen. Slay's got nowhere to go. Zera can back away. steal that Mega just in case his opponent was going to try and get it for himself, and that is that, folks. Team Liquid edge ahead now, 2-0 in this series.
I mean, Vega just putting on an Alari clinic there. Just looking tremendous. Feels like that was one where VARREL got exactly what they wanted comp-wise. Just didn't come out on top in the end. Looks like Team Liquid, Zera with the headset off, maybe discussing something with the source about what comes in for the next map.
Yeah, maybe some discussion there about what our next map might be. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer to find that out, folks. Headed to a break here as Team Liquid are up 2-0, one map away from booking their spot in our playoffs. VARREL are running out of options, and frankly, they're running out of time. Looking down the barrel, that key being crushed, stripped away from them. just like their eligibility to play in the rest of this mid-season championship. And Team Liquid have handed down beating after beating across this series. Yeah. 2-0 up. Circuit Royal, the pick for VARREL. Not even close on that map to Liquid.
It seems like VARREL's still in high spirits in terms of the team, but Team Liquid seems so decisive. They know exactly what they want to go to in different situations. This is what I thought they were probably talking about. Because it's like, hey, you know, if we're in this type of situation, we're going to bring a knife. Maybe it's like, hey, we want to get him some run. Get him into like kind of game situation here. Can you find making that move? So we'll see him play Atlas here. That is the map pick for VARREL.
Knife, an incredible player in his own right, surfaced in the last months of the Overwatch League back in 2023.
Yeah.
On that Vegas Eternal roster, and looked really good despite playing on ping and bounced around, honestly. A lot of teams in Korea as like a sub. Zeta Division had him there as a sub for quite some time and never really able to make the best use of him. Now though, Team Liquid have found a place for him on the stage here in what could be the final map of this series to catapult them into our playoffs.
Yeah, with the import restrictions, right, for OWCS. Every region, yeah, with if you bring in like a Korean player to play, right, they got to be like really good. It's you'd only have so many slots for your individual team. So Knife comes into Team Liquid, a very good player. They also have the luxury of getting Zura through this season. So it'll be a sub here as well for VARREL.
Just a correction, sorry. It was Crazy Raccoon that Knife was on, but they never really found a great use for him. Thinking back, sort of sat on that roster and just wanted, I mean, again, tough to find a way, into the starting roster, because he was on that Fnatic team beforehand.
Like trying to find your way onto the Crazy Raccoon roster, like what would you have to do? Like lock somebody in their room?
I think so. Yeah, you'd have to frame them for something egregious, I think.
Yeah,
don't get any ideas, Jack.
So Kuki actually comes in here for Nico, so a change here for VARREL. They will make a sub and potentially their final map here at EWC, where taking us to the newest map in the pool, Atlas.
It's been a good one for VARREL, in fairness, like we've seen from them so far. But in this series, this particular matchup, nothing has gone right for them. Illari and Sojourn both banned away here. So Sojourn, the opening ban.
Yeah, so VARREL gets rid of the Soj here, so Tree is probably going to be whether on Cassidy or the Freya. The Illari ban definitely hurts, right? Because we've seen VARREL play Illari and Kiri, or the Illari and BAP, pretty much throughout this entire series. Yep. So where will they go to now with that key support gun? I also have to imagine they would never have ran it on this map, but just the idea of Vega being able to run it back again had to pain him a little bit to see the Illari go.
And VARREL are routinely banning Sojourn on Atlas. They simply don't want to deal with it, / obviously play it themselves. Might have something to do with Kuki being brought in for this kind of map pretty routinely here. And Tree and Knife just getting reacquainted here. Knife obviously just trying to make sure his audio is good to go.
It's like, guys, somebody needs to talk so we can check my headset, please.
Yeah, asking about where his sort of volume control is so we can turn that up.
I mean, look at the Tree is just stocked up on gear. Look at this.
Yeah, that's a phrase. No, just making sure that the earbud is the right size.
Yeah.
It feels like we're watching Knife get onboarded as we speak.
This has been the biggest resistance Team Liquid has faced in this series, is getting Knife's headset connected.
And doesn't that say a whole lot about what VARREL have been able to offer?
Yeah, it's a bit of VARREL obviously was really good against Rock earlier, winning a crazy match. So maybe sometimes things like that happen where they win a game like that a little bit earlier in the day, and you're kind of just like, it doesn't really feel like the tournament's over, but you kind of feel like you've accomplished like what you set out to do, and you might not kind of have it all for this one. There's also the world in which they just match up against Team Liquid, and it's not a great matchup, and Team Liquid is going to go far in this tournament.
Vega there on your screen. What I imagine Samson looked like.
VARREL key. Might be one of the last times we see it in one piece.
Yeah, it's on the crushing block, isn't it?
Yeah. That key crusher this year. Last year was like in the back, so the whole crowd couldn't see it. This year, it's like, you know what? Somebody gets eliminated, let's put them on display.
There's certainly some kind of spectacle to it.
Yeah.
That, right? When that press gets towards the bottom and that thing just bloody explodes. Definitely encapsulates, I think, the feelings of this Japanese fan base. And Top Dragon said it best. He said, as a region, we're used to really not being able to measure up internationally whatsoever. So taking a team against Rock, a team that's competitive indeed, and with some legends of the game on there, that's very gratifying. It's vindicating to some degree, but they knew the job wasn't done. They knew they had to get past Team Liquid, a team that was purpose-built for success out there in North America. Here are your full match stats. This is the entire series that's gone by, and you can see that VARREL certainly fell behind, and I think that Circuit Royal had something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, we could have hit the score of the overall series. You have a good idea how the first two maps have gone, as right now, VARREL just searching for answers. Like we talked about, they pick Atlas here. They get rid of the Sojourn, so most likely going to see like some Cassidy, Freya type action. I would probably say, because they're bringing in Kuki, that it's probably going to be Cassidy, right? Because we saw Nico play some Freya, although maybe they're just Nico not kind of hitting those shots, and maybe they want to try something a little bit different here. I think that Alari ban, though, that Liquid does, is going to give them a lot of trouble.
It's been a real preference here for Slay. I mean, we even saw it considered on Li Jiangtao at the start of the series, brought out there. Wherever he can play it, apparently he's going to try and make it happen. Atlas here, beckoning us in for a third and potentially deciding map in this series. This is your Group B decider match. One team advances, another team goes home.
Maybe they try and play something like this, VARREL, right? Where you play Venture. Do you play like... you wouldn't play like Venture with the Sim, right? You would play like Venture.
You certainly can.
Something like that. You could play with the Sim.
The Reaper's probably is a lot more reasonable on this map.
Yeah.
And a lot more popular, but Tree already sort of reading into that has locked the Cassidy, so it'll be difficult to find success. Top Dragon likely just TPing the team out here and then switching over towards something more reasonable. Okay, Tracer Venture.
Tracer, Reaper, some sort of flanker right in combination with it, and because they can't play the Alari, it is the Jake OW Classic. It is the Moira coming in here for VARREL.
Yeah, Moira Kiriko here, so still decent amount of throughput even outside that sort of Bionic Orb deployment. Playing for a lot of those coalescences as often as possible, but Knife has come in clearly to be the Venture player, and so far not too shabby from the super sub. Knife and Tree account for 4 eliminations in this first fight, and VARREL are barreled over.
And with how good Tree and the supports have been for Team Liquid in this series, throughout the tournament as well, it's going to be very tough for Kuki and Top Dragon to be able to make plays for Tree, right? Cassie already has great survivability, but then with the protection from RuPaul and Vega, feels like it's going to be near impossible.
Top Dragon's trying to garner some attention here. Knife got blown up. Slay was ready to double down from the high ground, apparently. After Top Dragon got some damage in. So this now forces Infected to contest in lieu of their Venture. And Kuki now might want to go upstairs and look to go for the softer underbelly of this Liquid composition, but takes a hit there, presumably from Tree. Still no flip, by the way. Infected's been hard to ship, but eventually he's going to have to give up the Ghost. Liquid, I'm surprised to see him commit the Kitsune rush here. I think RuPaul thinks there was an opportunity to keep Infected alive, but it comes a little late. They're committing so heavily here just to try and get as much capture progress as possible. And so Cloud brings the Coalescence out.
Well, it already had flipped, and they end up using their sound barrier there, so pretty poor from Team Liquid. I think what they had imagined there is that they were going to be able to drop the rush, and then RuPaul was going to be able to like TP to Infected, maybe Suzu, then heal him up. But Infected just gets taken out before able to do so. And VARREL flips quite early, so they're going to get up. But it's going to be like almost like even.
Kuki and Knife both popping up. It's the flashbang that catches on the Kuki though and leaves Knife free to contest this point, which is generally where he wants to be. Probably feels like he can win out in most 1-versus-1 matchups, which is why Slay had to help Top Dragon earlier on. KSG already popping the Fortify on the low ground. This could be a little bit dangerous. That Fortify's now run out, and KSG's in trouble. Nowhere to really run. Tree settling for just a large proportion of damage on towards that Orisa. And now that Tectonic Shock Almost made quick work of a couple of those lower health Team Liquid players, but now Knife will be waiting for the emergence of Kuki and to send them back home.
Yeah, you do get to 99 though here if you're VARREL, so you give yourself an opportunity, probably one fight. If you're able to flip, you take first point. Slay will go Kiri, so they're going to just drop the speed here as we'll see. It'll be Top Dragon the one who can test.
As the recall pretty early on though, that might have been part of the plan. Knife here with a great tool to contest the point, this tectonic shock here. Something that's going to be hard to be mitigated by KSG. Knife gets a little bit of distance with a drill rush, and he does spot coming at him across the map. It's Kuki. KSG's already been taken down, and the burst damage is just too much to bear. And VARREL, while competitive on this point, and Liquid with some really interesting ultimate committal decisions, will walk away with Station.
Yeah, and KSG never able to really move up to contest the point. Kind of gets to it with the spear spin and then Fortify. Gets pushed back there by the tectonic shock of Knife, and then when he goes to contest it, yet again, Infected just knocks him back, so never able to get the Orisa back up onto the point to contest.
Now Cloud is going to be cycling a lot of those coalescences in between these fights, but crucially it's Vega and RuPaul with the entire offering of... Oh my goodness, that setup with the Javelin was dirty. Tree, of course, with the coup de grace.
And he didn't even have time to react.
No,
I mean, he just turned the corner, got hit with a Javelin, and then got disintegrated as it looks like a little bit of a pause here as let's go Liquid. It seems like you're going to be happy here with the end of this match.
Yeah, all smiles, of course, in the Liquid contingent there. And in fact, it tilted that the game was paused. He's like, bro,
yeah.
I'm feeling myself there. And again, often that setup with the Orisa Javelin, we don't see it often. But combined with a Sojourn with a charged rail, or even a Cassidy who's able to find the headshot, like Matt mentioned, you don't have a chance to respond. You get pinned to the wall. You're Moira. You have no chance to fade, no chance to walk back.
And to remind you guys, we have another game after this, right? We're going to get Twisted Minds up there on the stage.
Up against Sign.
Yeah, little rematch. It's going to be quite a banger.
Yeah.
End things out with just the final spot up for grabs.
EMEA versus NA. Couldn't ask for a better way to wrap the night up. And again, it's all on the line. So many people expected Twisted Minds to be potential finalists out here in Riyadh. I mean, Liquid might like to insert themselves into the conversation, but first step will be to complete their task here against VARREL. They start with point control. Good opener now. As Kuki's looking to head towards the back line, but notice he took a big bunch of damage in mid-air, and his Deadeye is going to dissuade the Venture from popping up mid-tree.
Well, they lose Slay to the Deadeye as well. I mean, that cannot happen. You use the Coalescence. You would have had Kitsune Rush, but just kind of ends up falling to the hands of the Deadeye from Cassidy.
How are you feeling about this Tracer Venture look here into Tree's Cassidy?
I mean, look, judging by the results, has not been great. And I said earlier on, like, RuPaul, Vega, and Tree, like, they've done such a great job. You know, think back to, like, Lijiang Tower, like, how well they were moving around together. It's a very difficult combination to dive. And if you're not able to do it successfully, and you're not on the same page, which we've seen VARREL not be on the same page for a lot of this one, you're not going to produce results.
Kitsune rushes the match, but Vega's going to hold on to the sound barrier until the most opportune moment. And it comes out! Such that Team Liquid suffer 0 casualties in this fight so far. It has been a bit of a walkover on Artless here. VARREL not able to find much success with that composition at all. A cheeky second flashpoint lapped up.
Infected had his hands off the keyboard. He was walking sideways there for a second. I thought we were going to get another pause.
Team Liquid here, riding high, feeling confident. Let's listen in and see what's happening in the comms.
So when they were still not it. All right, I'm playing with only one in here, bro. Let's win.
Okay.
What? Okay, that you can. All right. Only DPS ult.
Hover van, I'm walking. Kiri left. Look Kiri, look Kiri.
Walking main.
Champion. Walk me out. Pushing main, pushing main. Live. Live, fight tray. Oh, good one. Winnable. Alright, just chill. Kiri low.
Trey low, pro. Trey died.
There's so one.
We're even.
Yeah, I'm walking point. I can't touch.
Okay. I'm
first close.
Kiri one, bottom.
Pushing. Kiri no CT. Kiri point. Kill Kiri. Ulting Kiri.
Warrior.
Kiri no TP1. First one.
Other spear, I can in.
Alright. Venom. 3, no spear.
I can see the walk.
Push right.
Main.
Hover Ven. Oh, Ben one.
Living point.
Look, carry. No TP. Carry. I'm on. Alright, just show.
Some conversation about how many innies are optimal to use.
It sounds like somebody's auditing, just like,
The effect was like, we can pause the game, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before we drew the list in. I was like, it looked like he was going to call for one. He had his hands off the keyboard moving sideways, but, decided to keep it going. We're actually able to find out why that wasn't in somebody's in-ear falling out.
Yep. Apparently not an issue. Sounds like RuPaul's feeling a bit under the weather, but it hasn't affected his play thus far. He's looking sharp. Soon to rush here over to the point for Liquid as VARREL have already gotten themselves to 99% here, and Cloud falls on the wrong side of Knife's drill. It ends up being a trade though. Venture picked off by Venture. A flip of Team Liquid here, and looks like they bought themselves some space for now.
Yeah, these players kind of lingering around for VARREL. I mean, they're going to have to come up with something, or else you're just going to keep staggering, giving things over to Team Liquid. Sound barrier from Vega, and the Terror Surge comes on through, and guess what? It does not work out hanging around there for VARREL. As that's just, VARREL's having a good time. There's no reason.
He was simply planting roots, Matt.
There's no reason. Tree's just trying to get the crowd hyped up for the booze. He can't wait.
Notice he's got the double flashbang perk there to make it even easier to catch on to someone like Top Dragon. Or Juki, both of them really don't want to deal with that hindrance debuff. And Moira can't fade away, for example. Kiri can't swift step. Basically everyone really cauterized, I think, by that ability.
Tree is able to kill a flanker, it feels like, every single fight before the fight even really kicks off. I mean, this time it's Top Dragon, other fights is Kyuki, so...
There it is, Matt.
They might not even be able to get this
much. The final moments here for VARREL, trying to keep their head above the surging tides, but Liquid have engulfed them. And that's that, folks. Team Liquid will advance to our playoffs here in the OWCS Mid-Season Championship. They bring on the booze. They bring on all comers. And now they've gotten themselves into our final phase of play, downing VARREL in the process.
VARREL has a lot to be happy about with how they've performed here at EWC overall, but they will not continue on into the bracket as Team Liquid. I mean, that was as strong as a performance have we seen on the A stream all weekend thus far.
Yeah, I feel like this is really the manifestation of all the momentum, both visible and behind the scenes, that Team Liquid as a roster have been developing this year over in that North American region, forced to sit out of Hangzhou, forced to sort of bide their time, contemplate the next move, go back to the drawing board. Infected, loving it out there. Pow pow, feeling pretty good. I don't know about that character. I don't think that character's in the game, Boston, but fair enough. He'll be very pleased with himself. And VARREL, unfortunately, a valiant attempt here, but unfortunately they really don't get close to standing on even footing with this Liquid squad.
No, and I am excited to see this Team Liquid squad in bracket play. I think that, depending on their matchup, it is going to be exciting who they get, right? They seem like they could be a 4-second contend with just about anybody.
Already taking 2 maps off Crazy Raccoon in a best of 5. Running through VARREL pretty comfortably here. These are all very, very good signs for this NA squad. And yet there was a bit of inertia about Liquid at the start of this year. Took them a while to get going, but now they seem to have hit that cruising altitude. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all on the table for them. A dominant showing over Rock, of course, to get them into that upper bracket game. There's a multitude of frightening opponents waiting for them, of course, in that playoff bracket. It doesn't matter who Team Liquid faces, you're likely to see the same game faces on, the same approach with flexibility. Let's head down to the stage here with Zoe and someone with incredible bone structure. I won't spoil it for you. Let's head down.
It can only be one.